I remember the summer of 2001 for all the wrong reasons. It was supposed to be just another campaign season, tense, busy, but routine. My father, Senator Gerald Mendez, was running for re-election in Illinois. My best friend, Cassie Harlow, was the daughter of his main rival, Congressman Daniel Harlow. Despite the political rivalry, we had grown up like sisters. Press called us the princesses of Springfield because of our lavish appearances at political fundraisers and our prominent family names. We were 17, not kids but far from grown. We weren't allowed to walk alone. We had security details, and every move we made was watched by the media. That didn't stop us from sneaking out that night. It was Cassie's idea. Let's ditch the drivers. Take your mom's car and go to Ridgefield Diner. No bodyguards, just one night without cameras and old men shaking our hands. We made it halfway down Route 9 before the world flipped upside down. A black SUV blocked the road, no license plate. I slammed the brakes. Two men stepped out, dressed in plain dark hoodies and jeans, but moved like they'd done this before. Fast, efficient. One broke my window with a crowbar. Before I could scream, a cloth was pressed against my mouth. Chloroform. I woke up with my hands zip-tied behind me, legs tied at the ankles, mouth gagged. The room was dim, the floor concrete, somewhere underground. A single bulb swung above me. My head throbbed. Cassie was beside me, conscious, her eyes wide with fear. Where are we? I tried to ask, but my voice was muffled. 2 hours later, the door opened. 3 men walked in. One of them, a pale man with a tattoo of a spider web on his neck, spoke calmly, too calmly. You girls belong to us now. We were moved that same night, bags over our heads, driven to another location. We had no idea how far we traveled. All we knew was that when the bags came off, we were in a cramped basement apartment in what looked like a run-down part of an unknown city. There were bars on the windows, triple locks on the door, and cameras in the corners. Our captors didn't use names. 2. They called each other by numbers. 2, 5, 11. The spider-neck man was 1. He was in charge. You'll be cleaned up tomorrow, one said, arms crossed. Then you'll start earning. We didn't understand at first. Then a woman came in, older, maybe late 30s, with cold, detached eyes. She didn't speak. She bathed us, cut our hair short, stripped us of anything personal, earrings, bracelets, even Cassie's necklace with her brother's initials. Then she handed us thin tank tops and short skirts. Everything was tight, revealing. I felt exposed even indoors. That night, a man was sent in, tall, reeking of cigarettes and cologne. He tried to speak to me gently, but the act didn't last. I fought. I bit. I screamed. After he left, one came in with 2 and 5. They beat me with belts. I still remember the pain, but worse than that was Cassie watching and sobbing in the corner, knowing she was next. Days blurred into weeks. We were taken upstairs every night, into a living room turned brothel. Different men, different threats. We learned to say what they wanted, act how they liked, smile through the tears. Refusal meant beatings or worse. They made videos too, used fake names, sold them online, said nobody would ever find us, and if they did, nobody would believe we didn't do this willingly. Every so often, one would mock us. You think your daddies are looking for you? Please, they'll never find this place. And even if they do, no one wants the scandal of 2 little rich girls doing what you're doing now. Cassie cracked first. She stopped talking, barely ate. She stared out the barred window, silent. One of the guards tried to console her once. She bit his ear so hard it bled. They kept her chained to the bed for a week after that. Me, I took longer to break, but I did. Everyone does. I learned to fake it, learned when to cry, when to scream, when to stay quiet. I watched the men, watched the routines, listened, noticed when one left the room for smoke breaks, how 5 always forgot to lock the hallway door completely, how two sometimes left his phone charging on the couch while watching TV. The woman who managed us never spoke to us directly again. She came in, cleaned, cooked, brought us cheap makeup and clothes from the nearby strip mall. She always wore long sleeves, even in the heat. I knew there were scars underneath. By the third month we were moved again. New city, same game. This time, we were part of a bigger operation. There were more girls, 6, all young, all broken. One night, a girl named Ivy tried to kill herself. She cut her wrist with a piece of broken mirror. Cassie found her bleeding on the floor and screamed. Guards rushed in, dragged her away. We never saw Ivy again. That same night, Cassie whispered to me under her breath, "We have to get out of here. I don't care if we die trying." I nodded, because by then I knew two things. One, no one was coming for us. And two, if we wanted to survive, we'd have to stop being the victims and start becoming something else. Before we continue, let us know in the comments where you are watching from today and what time you are currently watching this video. If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more. The new house was colder, not just in temperature, but in how it felt. The walls were thinner. We heard everything. The sobbing, the screams, the locks turning over and over again. It was a worn-down two-story building, tucked behind a closed-down auto shop somewhere outside a city. We never saw street signs. We barely saw sunlight. Cassie and I were kept on the second floor with 3 other girls, Mia, Destiny, and Carla, all around our age, all taken like us. Some from broken homes, others just vanished from school one day. We weren't special anymore, just inventory. There was no kindness. No one asked if we were okay. They didn't care. The days started at noon. We were fed stale toast, canned soup, barely enough to survive. Then the routine began. We were told what to wear, what names to answer to, what to say, when to smile. By dusk, the front doors would open, and the buyers would start walking in. Some stayed 30 minutes, some all night. One night, a man tried to talk to me like we were on a date, asked what school I went to. I wanted to spit in his face. Instead, I smiled, because that was the only way to avoid another beating. Cassie was getting sharper, quieter but alert. She started paying close attention to the way they moved us. When the guards changed, how long it took for each shift to rotate. She noticed one always kept a gun strapped to his ankle, but never locked it up when he slept in the room across the hall. She whispered to me one night as we lay in bed, our backs to the wall, "One day, they're going to slip. And when they do, we're not going to wait for anyone." We go. I started watching too. There was a pattern. Every Tuesday, 1 and 2 would leave the house for exactly 40 minutes around 3 p.m. They'd lock the front door behind them, but forget the window in the laundry room stayed loose. Mia told us that once she saw one of the girls sneak a phone from a buyer's coat pocket, but she got caught before she could even dial. They dragged her out by the hair, and none of us ever saw her again. By now, the 5 of us were like a pack. We didn't trust the new girls when they came in, and we never cried in front of each other. We shared food scraps, whispered plans, and kept each other sane.
Edent came customer 27.
They didn't give real names, just numbers, but 27 wasn't like the others. He was quiet, older, kept looking around the room like he was nervous.
Didn't touch anyone the first visit.
Just talked. The second time he came, he requested Cassie. That's when everything shifted. He sat on the bed with her, didn't take off his coat.
Didn't even close the door properly.
Just asked, "Do you want to get out?"
Cassie told him no.
She said it fast, loud, so the cameras would hear. But when he left, he slipped a folded note into the pocket of her hoodie. She read it under the covers that night, with shaking hands. It said, "2 more Tuesdays. Watch the alley behind the auto shop. Black van, 3:12 p.m.
Do not tell anyone."
We didn't know if it was a trap, Maybe 27 was testing her, or maybe he was serious.
Either way, Cassie tore the note into pieces and flushed it.
We never spoke of it again, not out loud, but we watched. We waited. The Tuesday before the supposed rescue came and went without anything strange. We began to doubt it. Then came the real Tuesday. 1 and 2 left as usual. 3 p.m. came.
We waited.
3:10, 3:12.
Cassie looked out the second floor window.
Black van, she whispered. Our hearts pounded. The front was locked tight.
Cards downstairs. No keys.
But the laundry room window, it was our only chance. We stalled. Fake stomach aches. Spilled soup caused enough noise to distract the others. When the guards went to check downstairs, we slipped out of our rooms. Cassie led the way. Quiet. Fast. The laundry room smelled like bleach and wet towels. I helped her slide the window open, barely wide enough to squeeze through. Cassie went first. She twisted, slipped, hit the ground hard but stayed quiet. I followed. My hip caught the edge of the window, but I forced myself through. Mia, Destiny, and Carla came right after.
Holdolda.
We ran, not toward the street, toward the alley.
The van was there. Door open.
27 in the driver's seat. Alone. We hesitated. It could have been a trick. Then we heard shouting inside the house. They'd noticed.
You don't have time,
he yelled.
Get in now, or you're dead. We jumped in.
He slammed the door shut and took off. Tires screeching, engine howling. I looked out the back window and saw 2 burst out the house, gun drawn, but we were already gone. No one spoke for 10 full minutes.
Just silence, breathing, shock.
Cassie broke it.
Who are you?
27 didn't answer at first, then finally used to be part of their circle. Got out. Been trying to bring them down ever since. We didn't trust him. How could we? But we were out. That was all that mattered.
He drove for hours.
Dirt roads, back ways, small towns. At one point he stopped at a rest station and gave us clean clothes, water and sandwiches. You're not safe yet, he said.
They'll be looking.
I need to move you again.
We didn't ask where. We just ate in silence,
gripping the bottles like they might vanish.
The next morning,
we were in a basement again. But this one was different. It had rugs, cushions, real beds, even lamps. No cameras, no locks. It smelled like cinnamon and coffee.
27 didn't stay. He handed Cassie a prepaid phone and said,
3 numbers saved.
Police,
lawyer, journalist. Up to you who you call first. Then he left. Cassie stared at the phone for a long time. Then she looked at me and said, we wait, just one day, just in case this isn't real. We waited, and by nightfall the door slammed open again. But it wasn't him, and it wasn't over. The door slammed open so fast, the hinges screamed. We froze. It wasn't 27. It was 2 men we didn't recognize. Both of them were armed. Cassie and I stood in front of the other girls instinctively, like a shield. Get your things, the bald one barked. Now, we don't have anything, I replied, my voice shaking. Then move, he snapped. Cassie didn't move. Who sent you? That hesitation nearly cost us. The second man stepped forward and grabbed her arm hard. Don't ask questions, let's go. But just then something unexpected happened. Mia lunged at him. She didn't scream, didn't flinch, just launched forward and bit his hand. Blood poured out and he shoved her hard into the wall. That was enough time for Cassie to reach for the lamp on the side table and smash it across his face. Sparks flew as the bulb shattered. The man stumbled. The bald one pulled his gun, but before he could aim, we heard the loudest sound of the night, tires screeching right outside, fast and sharp. Seconds later, gunfire, not from them, from outside. Cassie yelled, "Get down," and we hit the floor. It felt like chaos. Shouting, shots, feet thundering upstairs. We crawled into the hallway, trying to get to the staircase. Smoke started to fill the room. One of the windows shattered from the gunfire. Someone yelled our names. It was 27. He came flying in through the back door, a pistol in one hand and a gash on his forehead. "Move," he shouted. "They found you early." We ran, out the back again, into the car. This time it wasn't the van. It was a dark blue sedan, already running. The back seat was loaded with water bottles, gas cans, duffel bags. He had prepared. As we sped off, he didn't speak, just gripped the wheel like it was the only thing keeping him alive. We drove through the night. At some point, Cassie threw up from the stress. I just stared out the window, watching the world blur into gray highways and gas station lights. Finally, he pulled into an old garage somewhere that looked like a forgotten town, just a single grocery store and a few boarded-up houses. "We can't stay anywhere long," he said. "They've got people watching bus stations, airports, even hospitals. You call the police now, they'll know within hours." "Oh, I need time to get you safe." Cassie asked him, "Why are you really helping us?" His eyes flicked up in the mirror. "Because I have a daughter. She disappeared in 1998. I've been trying to find her ever since." We didn't ask more. Weeks passed. We moved every 4 days. Motels, cabins, the back room of a closed laundromat. He taught us how to change our hair with box dye, how to wear baggy clothes that made us look older or younger. He gave us fake IDs. We memorized them like homework, but the pressure never stopped. One morning, we stopped at a rest area, just off a major interstate. I went inside to use the bathroom while Cassie stayed back with the others. That's when I saw her, a woman near the vending machines, reading a newspaper. Nothing strange, until I saw the earpiece in her ear. She wasn't eating, just watching. I turned right around and left, but it was too late. When I got to the car, Cassie was already pulling the others into the back seat. "Get in," she yelled. Now, she'd seen a black SUV pull into the opposite lot. No license plate. We took off. The SUV followed. It turned into a full-blown chase. 27 slammed the gas pedal so hard, I thought the car would break apart. We weaved through traffic, hit a red light, and didn't stop. Tires screeched, horns blared, but they kept following. "Glove compartment," he shouted. "Get the flare." Cassie opened it and found a red stick flare. He cracked it, tossed it out the window. The flare bounced and burst into sparks just as the SUV was getting close. They swerved and lost control, sliding into a ditch. We didn't slow down. By the time we reached another safe spot, a trailer behind a salvage yard, none of us could sleep. Cassie sat up all night, with a knife in her hand. The other girls cried quietly under blankets. That was when Cassie said it. "We need to stop hiding." "What?" I asked. "We're not going to survive like this, always running. We either go public and risk everything, or we disappear forever." 27 sat at the table with his head in his hands. He looked older, worn. "If you go public, they'll try to silence you. They'll discredit everything. Your daughters of politicians. They'll twist it." Cassie didn't blink. Let them. 2 days later, Cassie used the burner phone, not to call the police, not yet. She called a journalist, a woman named Laurel, one Cassie remembered seeing on TV years ago, the kind who exposed police corruption and human trafficking rings. Laurel agreed to meet us secretly. We drove 6 hours to an old library that had been shut down for years. She was waiting there, alone, with nothing but a notebook and a camera. Cassie told her everything: names, locations, times, what they did to us, how they operated. Laurel's hands shook as she wrote it down. "Do you have proof?" she asked. Cassie handed her a flash drive. "We've been recording audio since the 3rd safe house. All of it." Laurel didn't say a word. She just packed up and left. 2 days later, the story broke. Headlines across the country: politicians' daughters found alive after year-long disappearance. Inside the sex trafficking network that silenced victims, we stayed in hiding. Cassie changed our location again and again. We started receiving burner phones, packages with money, messages from strangers who said they were willing to help. Some offered safe houses, others just said, keep going. But the story didn't scare everyone. Some wanted revenge. One night, we woke up to a small box outside our trailer, no return label. Inside, 5 photos of us, taken just days before, clearly through windows or from a distance. Underneath, a note, we're still watching. You talk, you die. The fear came back full force, but something in Cassie had changed. She didn't flinch, didn't shake, just stared at the photos and said, then let them watch, because we're not done yet. We never unpacked anymore. There was no point. Any place we stayed, we knew we wouldn't be there long. The threat had grown louder. More eyes were watching. The story had gone public, yes, but it also exposed just how deep their reach was. Cassie had changed. The bright, chatty girl who used to talk about college and fashion now carried a pocket knife everywhere. Her eyes always scanned exits first, people second. She trusted no one. And I had learned to live in the shadows. That was survival now. Laurel, the journalist, had done her part. The expose had blown open doors, but it also made Cassie and me public figures. Not heroes, not victims, targets. So we stopped playing defense. Cassie started keeping a list. Names, safe house locations, code phrases we overheard. She even kept track of facial features and tattoos of people who followed us. She said, if anything happens to us, someone needs to know. But she had one more idea, one I thought was crazy, until it worked. We go back to the beginning, she said. To 27? I asked. No, to where we were taken, to the first man. We make them think we're back in. I stared at her like she'd lost her mind. You want to infiltrate them? No, she said. I want to finish what we started. We spent weeks preparing. We had help. A woman named Raina, who had escaped a similar ring years earlier and had been in hiding since. She knew how they moved, how they recruited, how they kept girls quiet. She taught us everything. We studied routines, rehearsed conversations, practiced switching burner phones under pressure. We planned to bait one of the recruiters, a man who worked a nightclub in Detroit that had been linked to several disappearances. We chose Cassie as the target. She was better at playing knave. I stayed close, pretending to be her friend. The first night, the man didn't even look at us. The second, he nodded once. By the fourth, he approached us. You new in town? He asked Cassie. She smiled like it was rehearsed, just passing through. You work? A little, trying to keep the lights on. He leaned in. There's better ways. Cassie looked down shyly. I'm listening. He gave her a card, a name, a number. She took it with steady hands. The next night she called. She said she was ready. We followed the instructions. We were told to show up at a building that used to be a mattress warehouse. Cassie wore a wire. I waited outside in a stolen car with Raina in the back seat. Cassie walked in like she belonged. Inside, a woman searched her, asked if she was clean. Then a man came in. Not the recruiter from the club. Someone worse, older, the kind with empty eyes. He looked Cassie over, then said, "You're too pretty to be walking the streets." She smiled. That's what I thought. He waved her in. In her wire, we heard the door lock behind her. 10 minutes passed, then 20. I started panicking. Raina grabbed my arm. Trust her. But the signal went silent. No voice, no movement, just static. Then, boom, a loud crash from inside. Something heavy hit metal. Shouts, a scream. I jumped out of the car and ran for the door. Raina grabbed the gun from under the seat and followed. When we got inside, the hallway reeked of bleach and dust. We found 2 men on the floor, one unconscious, the other holding his head, blood seeping between his fingers. Cassie came around the corner with a fire extinguisher in her hand, breathing hard. They locked the door. She gasped. I played along until they turned their backs. We searched the rooms, found 3 girls inside, all terrified, all drugged, We carried them out one by one and loaded them into the car.
We left the building and never looked back.
That should have been the end, but it wasn't. Because the people behind this, the real ones, the ones who never got their hands dirty, they knew who we were now, and they weren't going to let us walk away twice. So we did the only thing left. We went live. With Laurel's help, we filmed everything. Not a polished documentary, raw footage. Cassie spoke into the camera, broken, fierce, clear. They tried to make us disappear. They tried to break us. It tried to break us, but we're not done, and we're not afraid anymore. We uploaded it to every platform we could, encrypted backups, scheduled drops, shared it with international organizations. Within hours, it was everywhere. That video went viral. It forced authorities to act. Too many eyes were watching now. Names started getting exposed. Businessmen, government officials, even people in law enforcement. Some were arrested. Some went underground. Some died suddenly. But we survived. A few weeks later, we testified under protection. Courtrooms full of people heard what had happened. And for once they listened. The girls we rescued from that warehouse, they're safe now, in real homes, going to school, getting therapy. 127 didn't make it. He died in a car crash. They said it was an accident. Cassie and I knew better, but we kept going. We started a foundation, not for show, for real girls who were still trapped, to help them disappear safely, to get them out, to give them back their names. We never used our real last names again. Too dangerous, but everyone knew the story, and no one forgot. In 2001, 2 daughters of powerful men were kidnapped. Everyone thought we were gone, but we fought our way out, and how we escaped shocked the world. If you like this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also another to strengthen our community. Let us know in the comments where you are watching from and what time you are currently watching this video.